This episode of the Trailblazers features Tishauna Mullings, a young Jamaican currently studying in London, England. She's a serial social entrepreneur, the founder and the manager of nexxstepp Educational Services. So I'm just interested in finding out how she's managing all of this during COVID-19, as well as some tips from her on making your next step your best. And just for viewers, just to know that Tishauna is on a cheapening scholarship. She's in London, England at this time, while of course I'm recording from Jamaica, so it's a pleasure that we can connect on the Trailblazers in this fashion. But tell us, Tishauna, what is it like on the ground, during COVID-19? You're studying your master's at this time.
Yes, well, it's a pleasure to join you on the Trailblazers, Tamara. It's a very interesting year to be a evening scholar. I love the interaction with my classmates and my lecturers, especially seeing that I wanted to study overseas, so I could have that experience with interacting with classmates from Indonesia, from different countries in Africa, just from all over the world. So not to have that engagement and to now be a distant learning student, it's quite a transition. Not being able to travel to other countries in Europe and having that experience, it's quite a challenge. It took a while before there was a total lockdown in London, but I've been in quarantine about 3 weeks before there was the official lockdown. So it's interesting times.
Yes, and I assume it's during these times that you actually have to pull on some of what you tell others, because I know you do motivational speaking as well.
Absolutely. So, and one of the things that I stand for is that it's not just about motivating, but about taking action. As a matter of fact, our tagline at nexxstepp, which is my social enterprise, is moving from motivation to motion. So it's not just about pumping up people, but about what are the real actions that I will take, what are the real connections that I will make. So I have to be making connections with my friends, with my families, with people that I had on a list long time that I wanted to connect with. When you go to networking events and you have a bunch of business cards just stacked up like those, and I've made a lot of new connections since I've been here. There are some classmates that I see every day at school, but I now connect with them in a new way that we're all in quarantine. So there is a hidden blessing in COVID-19, and I keep on telling that to everybody.
Yes, indeed. I know that you mentioned nexxstepp Educational Services, which you are the founder and manager of. You
yes.
Also described as a serial social entrepreneur. Tell us about how you ventured into this. Tell us about your company. What do you do?
Yes. So this is the Trailblazer, right? And
yes.
Trailblazing is all about pioneering new ideas. It's all about innovation. And I'm a rural girl. I'm from St. Thomas, Jamaica. And right. and pretty much what I do, I define it as rural regeneration. And one of the things about me, each time I make another step and I find people that start surrounding me and helping me and kind of propping me up a little bit more, that's what I tell everybody. And the reason why I'm telling that story is because that is what undergirds my business. This is how I started, from people seeing that there's a seed in me, a seed of greatness, and they just kind of helped to push me along the way. And I thought I wanted to do that for people, and I also want to make a living as well. And I found out that you didn't have to separate making a living from making impact. And that is how I started this social enterprise. And why we're a social enterprise is because what we continuously do is make sure that young people are getting opportunities to understand the world of work by working with us. But just consider a 19-year-old finishing school, didn't get enough subjects. And instead of working in a job where, there's not much transferable skills in terms of professional skills, we give them an experience to come to nexxstepp. We train them, and when we're going to corporate trainings at CB Group or the US Embassy, British Council, different places that we train for. We bring them in the room and we have them to do role plays and have different experiences that usually at that age with that kind of background they wouldn't have been able to have. And it's amazing because that's how I've grown. When I started my business, I didn't know what life coaching is. Somebody taught that to me. And from learning that, everything started to change. I moved from an average student who left high school getting 50s and 60s as my average to graduating valedictorian as an A student.
Wow.
That's the process that I teach people through my business. Right. So the Jamaica Stock Exchange, they launched the social stock exchange, and many social enterprises are now listing on the social stock exchange where they can get investments into their business so they can continue supporting the cause that they're supporting. But I think Jamaica is getting there. I was a part of SEBI, which was a business accelerator through Jamaica National, and they really helped to really nurture social enterprises in Jamaica. And a lot of these social enterprises are now model social enterprises like Deaf Can Coffee. It's run by all deaf people, deaf servers, deaf coffee makers, and it's just amazing what they do. And as a rural girl, I want people to understand that you don't have to live in Kingston or in Montego Bay or somewhere that when you go overseas, that's what everybody knows. Because here in London, everybody's like, where are you from? Kingston, Ocherias, you know, all the names that rings in people's ears. But there's the rest of Jamaica. There's St. Elizabeth, there's St. Thomas. And if you're innovative, there are things that you can do to make change. I remember when we ended the accelerator through JN, we got an award, nexxstepp got an award for rural regeneration. I didn't even know what that word meant at that time. But when I heard the word, I understood that that's what I was doing. And that is how I've grown. People also call me a positive deviant. I was on the Barack Obama Wildlife Program when a professor from a university called me a positive deviant. And I asked him, what's that? He said, based on how you described your life, you're a rural girl living near to a riverside in a community, a small community in St. Thomas, and you are on this program and you have done amazing things. I've spoken in Morocco, in Ethiopia, I've traveled to Peru, that's where I met President Obama, and just doing amazing things and blazing trails, and it's step by step. Sometimes they see you and they put you on a pedestal, but I'm always quick to remind people, success is just a step by step, small steps, consistent process. That's what leads to the big successes that we see on stages and, you know, people that we admire.
Yes, amazing. And your story is just, you know, wonderful. But at the same time, persons looking on, viewers looking on, they would want to know, especially for other persons in rural parishes or rural areas right across the world, how would you tell them that for somebody like yourself who came from such a situation but has risen to the level that you are at today, what would you tell them that they need to do to make those steps?
Well, first of all, it might sound cliche, but you have to understand that there is power within you and that wherever you are planted, you can bloom. Also, you have to understand that the naysayers will come, and sometimes there are many. And what can be tricky and a bit dangerous is when the naysaying is coming from people that you thought would have supported you, thought would have been giving you positive advice, a push in the right direction. Sometimes that can be family. It can be somebody that you saw as a mentor. It can be a co-worker. It can be a boss that you would think they would say, well, this is a young girl or a young man pushing forward. Let me support them. And then these are the ones pushing you down. I want you to understand that these things will come and prepare for them. Because why I've grown so much, a lot of times it's a rebound from somebody saying you can't make it. I remember one time I was told, you are nothing but a clerk, you're an entry-level clerk, and you need to understand that. And it was said to me in such a strong way that I cried. I cried literally, Tamara. It was almost 3 hours. Wow. I met the same person who called me an entry-level clerk, and the person was introducing me to somebody. The person was saying, this girl is amazing. She's traveling the world. She's a globe trotter. She met President Obama. She's doing amazing things in her parish. She has mentored how many young people. And I have not seen the person for years, but the person has been following my journey. So understand that sometimes it's stressful to try to do it on your own. I'm not going to lie to you. And now, entrepreneurship seems to be the sexy thing. It's like a fad, but it's very hard work. And sometimes you're going to feel like you're going to fail. A study was done in the University of California, and they were saying that 1 out of 3 entrepreneurs have been depressed or are depressed. So it's hard work. So the final tip I would give is find a mentor or somebody that can support you on your journey. And when you're looking for mentors, give value. If you're the person that always begging something, beg a work, beg a link, beg this, it does not really work, right? People like people that offers value. So when I approach somebody, I always ask, how can we exchange value? And that's how I met my mentor, who is amazing. My mentor is almost like he has a record of everything that is going on in my world. And he just gathers that from different conversations. And he's always just pushing me in the right direction. Amazing. And you can find somebody like that too, if you follow those tips. And there are no rules to the journey, So you might try something else that works for you. And I always say that as well. Even my mentors, I said to them, I respect everything that you say to me, but at the same time, I'm going to filter them through my filter and then decide what is best for me. Because at the end of the day, you have to know what's best for you.
What's best for you. You are certainly a powerhouse, Tishauna, just from how you talk. As I already know, but our viewers, some of whom are maybe watching for the first time, are getting to know you some more. So that is amazing. How do you, however, balance being in London at this time, having a business in Jamaica, and you're also studying your master's? How do you do it?
Well, I think it's Lisa Nichols that I heard said this. It's not really about balance, it's more about harmony. Finding harmony where everything works well together. Because you're never going to have equal amount of time for study, equal amount of time for my spouse, equal amount of time for this. So it's not really going to be a balance, but there has to be harmony in how everything is working together. So I understand that I'm studying in a time like now, so my mental health needs to be taken care of. So I've drawn much closer to my friends that fill me up. Because you have some friends that just pull from you. The difference. And then you have those friends, when you talk to them, it's like really refreshing. They fill you up. I'm balancing that. I'm staying close to those friends. I love my business. I love working on my business. I do it for free if I had to. So I kind of work on my business here and there in between my studies because it gives me that fire in my belly, that excitement, because I can do my business effortlessly, but when it comes to studying, that takes more effort for me. And I understand my rhythm. So that's another part of it. You have to understand your rhythm. And then I'm in London, and then my friends and my co-workers and everybody is in Jamaica. So I'm on 2 clocks. So, in terms of finding the harmony with the rest, that is a challenge. So if I'm up late, I sleep a little longer in the morning just to make it very practical here. So that's what I do. I find harmony and I plan each morning what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. And it works like a charm.
It flows in harmony.
Absolutely, it flows in harmony.
Okay, we're winding down, but I wanted to quickly touch on 1 or 2 tips that you want to give to other entrepreneurs at this time, also other students at this time like yourself, maybe at the tertiary level. What 2 things would you say to them, to cope during this period and moving forward?
So I'm going to be very honest. It's a rough time for many, but also if we're able to look through the eyes of opportunity, we'll realize that there is a lot of opportunity. And I also believe that the world's biggest problems are the world's biggest opportunities. So what I have been doing and what I've been recommending is that we look at what is happening and we see how we can glean opportunities. I have a friend that she is into sustainable NGO building. And what she has been telling me is that a lot of grants are going to become available because of what is happening in the world now. So if you have a business and you can start a foundation aligned with your business, and sometimes there are going to be grants for social entrepreneurs and traditional entrepreneurs as well. So make sure you're positioning for those grants. A lot of us has things that we needed to have cleaned up long time in our businesses, like our financials or certain things that are not well documented. It's time to fix those things, get your house in order, and position for the opportunities that will pop up during and after COVID. So that's one of my main recommendations. And secondly, I will say just connect to your source. My source is God. And I believe that I don't have all the strength. As much as we're powerful and we have greatness within and all of that lovely stuff that the motivational speakers always say, at the end of the day, if you don't have support or you don't have something that keeps you grounded, then you can lose your way and the rug can be pulled from under your feet without you even realizing. So connect to your source and get your house in order. Don't spend your day just whining and because all of us are going through it together, and that's what makes it easier to go through. The world is now leveled. I cannot believe that in my under 30-year-old self, I would have lived to see a time in the world where we're all going through the same challenge, where the world is this level. So for the Jamaicans, honor your alone, the whole way I go through it. And for everybody, that means we're all in this together.
Girl, you are so fun. There's so much things that you said that honestly, even for myself as the person interviewing you, I feel so the fire in my belly as Alvin came up. But it's nuggets of truth in terms of positioning yourself, getting your house in order, to
Yes.
those opportunities that are to come. And I really appreciate that. And my final question to you,
Yes.
what do you see the next 10 years of your life looking like?
Wow. Every time I get a question like that, I'm happy because sometimes people think that I have everything planned out, but I always say what I know is that I'm going into a general direction, right? To say exactly where I'm going, I can't define that. I know that I would love to serve in some diplomatic post.
Yes,
And
awesome.
what I'm doing now is probably building up towards that because I'm a social entrepreneur. I'm studying development. It's quite likely that I will become a development manager. I've worked with a multilateral organization before. I want to do some more work with multilaterals after I've completed my studies. I will always be doing my business on the side, in the center, wherever, but my business isn't going anywhere. So I'm going to keep on doing my business. But I really want to serve my people. And when I say my people, I mean the people of the world. I love Jamaica and I'm happy I'm Jamaican. And I love my people, so I will always serve them. But I feel like I'm called to serve the world, and I think I hinted at it earlier. For me, it's not just about motivating people, but it's about getting them to take that next step, as my business says. That's why my business is called Next Step. I don't know if you've ever gone to a seminar or to some forum and you feel motivated, but you leave and say, I'm motivated, but what am I going to do now? I want to be that answer for what you're going to do now. How do you make that step? What is that step? How do I define it? That's what I want to help people to do. So whatever the name of the role is that has me doing that, that's what I want to do. And when I train young people, I say to them, it's not about what you want to be, but what do you want to do in life? I was talking to one of my mentees and he's like, oh, miss, I don't know what I want to be. I don't know what I want to be. And I said to him, what do you want to do? What influence do you want to make? Let's talk about that. We can always call it a name afterwards because this is the century of making impact, not the name of a career. The teacher, lawyer, doctor century is gone. Now, whatever impact you're making, go on LinkedIn and look at people's titles. It's all kinds of interesting things. In 2012, and I'm going to tell you this last bit, I talk for a living, so you have to forgive me. My voice is my vocation, so I can literally inspire all day because that's what I love to do. But in 2012, LinkedIn said that the most used term to describe people, or that people used to describe themselves, was creative. And it's 2020, and we're in the corona crisis. So more than ever, people need to be creative. So you be creative.
Thank you so much, Tishauna Mullings. What a pleasure. Such an amazing interview. And you're right, I could have you on. We'll probably do a part 2 another time. But
Yes, I'd be happy to do that.
just for our viewers, quickly, can you share where they can connect with you, to get that next step, whether, through your business or through you individually on social media?
Well, absolutely. The 3 platforms that I use most is Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where it's at. So I am Tishauna Indomitable Mullings on all platforms. You can also email me or my staff at nexxsteppeventsja@gmail.com. So if there's any question, queries, you're struggling with something, you need guidance, feel free to send us an email and we'll be happy to respond to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tishauna. It was indeed a pleasure. Please stay safe during this time in London, as you are trying to stay safe as well, and keep pushing forward and keep making that next step for the next generation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You keep safe too and keep trailblazing.